Hello there and welcome to the Bicycle Diaries. Well, after last week's lack of mojo, I think it's slowly returning. On Tuesday evening I went out and did my first ride of the week, and it was my usual ride up Harting Hill, which included the climb up Bevis's Thumb. On Tuesday I was riding my Trek. I was testing it out after its service, and I managed to get to the top of Bevis's Thumb and almost beat my PR. I was 1 second short. It's so frustrating. And then unfortunately, because I put so much effort into it, the rest of the ride was quite a slog, and I'm not sure I enjoyed it quite as much as I should have done. And then on Wednesday I did a ride down to Hayling Island. Now my strategy for that particular route is to try and complete the first 28 kilometers in an hour or less. The first half is fairly easy as it's pretty much downhill, and then I get onto Hayling Island and then it's fairly flat. Now on Wednesday the wind was against me, which made the first half particularly difficult. But then obviously when I made the turn and started heading back, that was a tailwind and I was absolutely motoring it along. I got to the 28 kilometre point well under the hour, but I was absolutely shattered. For the rest of the ride, the last remaining 12 kilometres, I was absolutely knackered. So this is actual live. Hello everybody else as well. I can hear my audio coming through. That's going to be a bit annoying, but anyway, here we go. And then on Thursday I went out to test the live stream functionality of my GoPro Hero 7. Now I bought this camera about 6 weeks ago, and one of the reasons that I bought it was for the live stream function. Now it initially didn't work. I think there was a fault with the camera, but it took over 6 weeks or so chatting with the support at GoPro and going through all of the obvious solutions and literally going around in circles. But then on Monday they replaced it with a new camera, and now it all seems to work fine. The problem is that the connection isn't that great. I'm using the hotspot on my iPhone to actually stream everything to YouTube, and when I ride through the trees that signal cuts out and the live stream stops, so that's a bit of a problem. Other than that though, I think the whole thing worked fairly well. I was able to use my chest harness for the GoPro, so it was all hands-free and everything. I had a decent view of the handlebars on the bike and the road ahead, and yeah, I was able to ride and chat at the same time, and despite the full-on headwind, the audio seemed pretty good. Like I said, this was a little bit of an experiment, and I'm still trying to work out when I would use it and how I would use it, but I've got a few ideas bubbling around. But if the connection doesn't work all that well, then that's going to make life a little bit tricky. In other news, I think I've managed to finally clear up one of the little enduring mysteries surrounding my cycling sunglasses. Up until very recently, I've been using a pair of very cheap plastic sunglasses from Halfords. They're about £15, but the lenses are polarised and they work very, very well. Now the problem that I have is that, being plastic, the little bit around the lens always seemed to break, and I just could not work out why. That was, of course, until I tried putting the arms of the new sunglasses that I've bought, also from Halfords, although much better quality. I tried putting the arms of those sunglasses outside of my helmet straps, and I just realised that my head was far too wide for that, and all I would do is end up breaking these new sunglasses in exactly the same place. So I don't think I'll do that, despite having your the arms of your sunglasses outside your helmet strap seems to be the thing to do. And on that subject, I looked into it, and many of the pro cyclists do indeed have the arms of their sunglasses outside of their helmet straps, but then some of them don't, and I was wondering why that was. Now the traditional reason that they do that apparently is in the event of an accident, the sunglasses will just fall off. But I've also heard that many of them do it so that they can showcase the sunglasses themselves and show off the logos of the sunglasses. So for instance, if a rider's sponsored by Oakley, that brand name is on the side of the sunglasses, and then the world will see it when they're on TV. But equally, I've also seen cyclists that wear the arms of their sunglasses inside their straps, and I think this is also to stop the sunglasses being ripped off if you take your helmet off and forget to take your glasses off before you take your helmet off. As far as I'm concerned, there's no hard and fast rules, so I'm going to continue wearing the arms of my sunglasses on the inside of my helmet straps. I'd very quickly like to thank somebody called Summer at a company called Nitecore for sending me a little power bank to test out. This is a 1000 milliamp hour power bank, and apparently it's the lightest and most compact one of its kind on the market, and it certainly does its job. I've been using it to charge my phone up, and it's done it about 6 or 7 times without the need to recharge the power bank itself. Now, as cyclists, obviously it's going to be very useful to be able to charge things like our phones, our cycling computers, our lights, or even our action cameras while we're out and about on a ride. But unless I'm being really stupid, I can't find a way of mounting this power bank on the bike. So I've had to just stick it in my jersey pocket where it can only charge my phone. I understand that some people were having a few technical difficulties this week, and flicking through the cycling social media groups that I belong to, it appeared that they couldn't upload their rides to Strava. Now it turned out that it was actually Garmin Connect that was having the problem, and I think it's been resolved now, but when I went on to Garmin Connect myself, they were saying that their servers were down for maintenance, but I understand it was slightly more sinister than that. This is obviously going to be an issue for people with Garmin cycling computers that have them paired wirelessly to their smartphones via Bluetooth. Normally when they get home, they stop their ride and the computer automatically links it to Garmin Connect via the Bluetooth connection and then uploads that to Strava. But obviously with Garmin Connect having the problem, it was unable to do that. Now if that happens again, you can still do it the old-fashioned way by plugging your cycling computer into a normal laptop computer or a desktop computer via the USB connection, and then you just click the manual upload on Strava and away you go. So there's no problems there. Despite having a reasonable start to my rides this week, I still appear to be struggling somewhat with my motivation. Okay, the weather outside has turned for the worst. It's very wet and very windy at the moment, so that's not going to help matters much. But nevertheless, I think I'm just going to cut my losses and call time on it. And with that, the week's totals are 110 kilometers ridden. I've got 4 hours and 32 minutes of seat time, and I've climbed 742 meters, and that brings the year's total to 3,359 kilometers ridden. I've got 145 hours and 45 minutes of seat time, and I've climbed 20,221 meters. And if we go over to Strava, we can see that on Tuesday my fitness score was 54. On Wednesday it was 56, and then on Thursday it was 57. The weather next week isn't looking too bad, but the slight complication is that I'm going to be away from home. I'm visiting somewhere called Ludlow, and that's about a 3-hour drive from where I live. And the problem there is it's a part of the world that I've never really been to, so I don't know the area, but I'll be using things like Garmin Connect and Strava and the Hammerhead dashboard to create a few cycling routes for myself. I will be taking my bike, and hopefully I'll be able to get out and do some rides while I'm there. Thanks for watching.